All right, welcome to Guarantee News on a fresh new Monday. It is September 16th, 2024. I am your host, of course, Garrett Sims, and I did not film for a week. Sorry, I was on vacation. I said I was maybe going to film. I went to Costa Rica, and once I got there and saw everything and started drinking, I'm 21, I can say that, right? I was like, there's no way I'm filming. So it's been a week off, a busy week, but we're going to get to the news that's just happened. Sorry about the bag under my eyes. I'm like using a jade roller. I'm trying to, get a little skincare routine going to get rid of these things. But, we got a good show today on this early Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Another Trump assassination. DirecTV and Disney made a deal. NFL football that I may or may not get to. We'll see. Taylor Swift and Donald Trump hates her. JD Vance on CNN. The dogs eating cat situation is still going on. Is it true? Is it not true? Is it just a bunch of racism and lies that are put into people that all people are going for, like all Trump things? We're going to ask the right questions, at least. I'm going to give the answers, I think, and that's going to be guaranteed news on a Monday. Man, these hoes look bad. Every time when you go on vacation, am I the only one that will go on vacation somewhere and their allergies will feel 100% better, and then they'll go back home and then they'll just look like shit and feel like shit for 4 or 5 days, and it makes you feel like your home is really not clean and dirty and allergies, and your outside home, the trees are dirtier and everything. Is that just me? I don't know. But let's start the show off like how we start every show off. We're doing the K-Ferg 500 song. No idea what I want to play. Hold on. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. We'll do this. This is Where the Love by K-Ferg 500. And, I'm going to take a little look at something. I may need to start playing the new songs, but like I said, we're starting this show off like we do every show, a couple K-Ferg 500 songs, and then we're going to start off with the Trump assassination. Let's get to it.
I just pour me some trips, I feel better. Put on Prada and dance with the devil. Yeah, she never been in the VVT. She never call when you be in the sea, but I bet she link when that shit come to me. I'm back, baby, where the love? Yeah, yeah. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. Really, I'm slamming as ever. Really, I'm slamming as I hold my chips like poker. I know it's over as soon as I'm sober. Yeah, gang called me, told me bring a soda. So I brought a soda. Try to be front the move. I'm trying to get this cash and reach my quota. I don't even play like that. Little bitch, you sober. 252 getting high in the stool. Pop got dark, 3 in the 2. Told the bitch that I ain't Bruce Wayne. All about me, I ain't saving you. These niggas talking, don't think that I hear it. Let it start cause you got hoe in the spirit. Treat that bitch like a BOA. Load her up, then go and clear it. Yeah, she think she reigns supreme. She ain't even make the team. Yeah. She playing with Maybelline, my look up was Maybelline. Yeah, we in the SVR, I'm through with the SRT. I'm through with the highs and buys. She wanna come and go, but I wanna fucking leave. She don't understand, I'm only a man, can only do what I can. Yeah, this shit getting hot, man, okay, I get it, but why you ain't at you a fan? I bet your mama ain't know she raised the hoe, and I'm just saying. Yeah, I let niggas get too hype. Can't let that happen again. Yeah. She thinks she got a wise man. I don't think buddy's too clever. I just pour me some trips, I feel better. Put on Prada and dance with the devil. Yeah. She never been in the VVT. She never call when you be in the sea, but I bet she link when that shit come to me. I'm back, baby, where the love? Yeah, yeah. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. If it came down to it, I'm slamming you out for real. Really, I'm slamming as ever. Really, I'm slamming as I hold my chips like vodka.
To everybody watching, I'm so sorry every time I try to sing the words or I try to make a little singer, do my little dance to look like I know the words. I look like an idiot because there's a 33-second difference between what I'm doing live and what you guys are seeing. Wrong email. Well, you guys saw that one now. But whoever's watching this live or afterwards on YouTube when I clip it because it's available, what's it like, gs@gmail.com. If you know the reason, hold on, let me make this bigger so you guys can see. If you know the reason why this is happening, please email that email and say, Garrett, this is what you're doing. You don't even have to comment right now. If you know something, if it's my Wi-Fi, if it's that I'm streaming live on YouTube, please tell me, because I hate that every time I rewatch, I look like a fucking moron every time I try to sing. Okay, now one more K-Ferg 500 song. Which one do I want to do? Let's do Backslide. We're going to do Backslide, K-Ferg 500. This is the last one, and then we're going to get to the show. It's only a minute and 33 seconds. We're starting off with Trump. Last
Before
song.
Shopify, were you wondering?
And, of course, they gave us an ad. How long is this ad? 10 seconds. Speaking of ads, I have an ad today. You know, a little Garrett commercial. It's going to come in the middle of the show. Pause. So be excited for that.
Big bank take, little bank, let me cash out. Dick bitch came with me too with her ass out. Draco shoot way too hard, made me backslide. I was in the field for real, catching pop flies. Real chicken nigga, we ain't fucking with Popeyes. We like mob guys, FTL nigga got mob ties. Finna put them pointers on my wrist, they gon' be sick as hell. Send my op to the hospital, I hope he getting well. Bitch wanna do me bad, okay, I give her hell. Came with a Mac, make that bitch sing like it's a deal. I don't even know why you talking like you know something. If a nigga move too fast, I'm gon' blow something. I told my plug, bring me the bowls, cause I'm a dope runner. If I don't drop in June, it's gonna be a cold summer. I be dropping hop shit every time I touch the mic. She ain't coming when you fucking, you ain't stuff it right. If you can't stretch it to a pint, then you ain't cut it right. Nah, I ain't too pop, but I'm thug for life. Bitch try to do me wrong, she was bugging right. I get high every day, bitch, I love my life. If you ain't dripping like me, you ain't coming right. Nigga ain't good in his hood, he can't come at night. I just sparked some runs, now I'm high as a satellite. Big bank take, little bank, let me cash out. Dick bitch came with me too with her ass out. Draco shoot way too hard, made me backslide. I was in the field for real, catching pop flies. This real chicken nigga, we ain't fucking with Popeyes. We like mob guys, FTL nigga got mob ties. Finna put them pointers on my wrist, they gon' be sick as hell.
All right, welcome to Guarantee News. Again, right off the bat, if you were watching for a second, a minute, the whole show, no matter what, I appreciate it. If you are not liked and subscribed, please do. Let's get to the show. You guys don't want to hear me talk about bullshit anymore. Another Trump assassination happened yesterday, and the man was detained in an attempt on criticized former president on social media. So this is the guy. We have a 58-year-old white man that basically at Trump's golf course. Sound like I've never golfed before. I promise I have. On his Mar-a-Lago golf course in Florida yesterday, there was an attempted assassination on Trump. Long story short, basically what the guy did is he was peeking through some bushes and started opening shots, and that's when the Secret Service found him. There's a lot of questions with this. Is why did he decide to do this? How, again, is bringing up those Secret Service questions on the assassination that happened like a couple weeks ago or like a month ago now. I don't know. Everything feels like it was so long ago, but it wasn't. But it's bringing up those questions of like how safe or how good are the Secret Service at their job that you can get to. Let's watch this a little bit, and then let me read through this article before I start giving opinions and stuff. We don't want to stay with this for too long because this is an insane topic, actually. I mean, we should stay with this. This is the age story. But there's just one big question that I want to get to that I feel like this all boils down to mainly. This one seems a lot more open and shut as far as like, why did this guy want to do that? I feel like the Matthew Crooks assassination, the kid, we never really got more about that than he was just some kid that wanted attention, that wanted to have a moment, which never feels right for me. But let's watch this. 3 minutes.
Our investigative team has been going through the internet, going through various social media websites, and we now know that this is Ryan Wesley Routh. He is age 58. The images that you are seeing here are publicly available on social media websites, and these are posted, the ones that you saw with the Ukrainian flag behind him and with various soldiers, that he went to Kyiv, he went to Ukraine, went to the front lines, and he traveled there in 2022. He was raising money for the war effort. He personally traveled there. He was encouraging others to join among his friends, as well as just across social media, encouraging this fight for democracy, as he was writing on social media. We're also getting a fuller image of who this 58-year-old man is. We know that he had been living in Hawaii as well as in North Carolina. In Hawaii, he was a self-employed affordable housing builder. He started his own company in 2018 called Camp Box Honolulu, and it builds storage units for like those tiny houses that you see in a lot of urban areas. And those tiny houses, according to an article written about him in the local newspaper, was to help homeless people. In North Carolina, he had been registered as an unaffiliated voter without a party in 2012.
Bless me. If you're watching this, stay with me, because this is kind of the thing about CNN reporting that I don't like, and why written journalism is way better, because I read this article, haven't watched this video. I hope in this next minute and 30 seconds they kind of get to the other side, because right now they're painting him as this liberal that's fighting democracy, and that is, he's building these houses for low-income people in Hawaii. He is a big supporter of Ukraine, and he is getting other people to support Ukraine. Not only has he these opinions of himself, but he seems to also care about, making the world around him better, helping the people around him. That's the story that they're painting, and that's what this man is in one sense of the word. But there's another side to him and what he does, and with all these things that they're saying. I hope they say it in this next minute and 30 seconds, but I wanted to pause it right there for all the people that are wondering, why is Garrett, this person that tries to be objective, playing this clearly left-leaning, all the way left-leaning video? The article's not as bad, and I think visual is just always good for people, but trust me, I will not just let them do this without at least putting the other side if they don't.
He voted in the state's Democratic primary in March of this year, according to the North Carolina State Board of Elections. And he had contributed more than $100 to Act Blue. That is the website that processes donations for Democrats, and this is according to federal campaign finance records. We also are learning that he did have brushes with the law, especially in North Carolina. There are several incidents, the 2002 incident that you had been talking about with some of our experts on set there, that he was arrested after being pulled over by police and had barricaded himself with a firearm inside of a business. That was confirmed via law enforcement, and also public records confirm a number of cases dating back to the 1990s. He has been repeatedly accused of not paying his taxes on time. Judges have ordered him to pay tens of thousands of dollars to plaintiffs and various civil suits. But you see the man right there. He at least just looking at that picture, you can understand where his eldest son, in a text message with one of our producers in the investigative unit, told CNN that Ralph was a loving and caring father, an honest, hardworking man. The son wrote, "I don't know what's happened in Florida, and I hope things have just been blown out of proportion, because from the little I've heard it doesn't sound like the man I know to do anything crazy, much less violent." So a very confusing.
Okay. Well, first let's get to the skinny. Well, before we get to the skinny, let's get to this little video. This was extremely biased, and I think it is painting a picture of this man as this caring guy that loves democracy. And not only does he love democracy, he wants to bring everybody else to it. And I'm sure he is that, but there's the other side of that where I think he's maybe, let me make sure I'm using words right. I love using this word. I want to make sure I'm using it. Erratic. He's a little erratic, not even or regular in pattern or movement, unpredictable. Okay, so I don't want to say erratic. I'm going to say a word that's, maybe kind of disrespectful, because I can't come up with a different word. I'm sorry about that. But he seems like he's a little bit of all over the place, a little crazy, and a little bit of a raging liberal, which you would see what a liberal is, the judgmentalness and everything else. And we'll get to that in more detail. But that's why I feel like this video specifically wasn't good, because I feel like it's only painting one side and making this guy seem reasonable for trying to attack a former president of the United States who is running again. That's unacceptable. And there's no way, I think in this day and age, where you can make someone do that and not show both sides of how he obviously has to be a little bit off of his rocker to do something like this. So that's why I don't like this video, but I like this article because it's not as bad. Here's the skinny. All right, 58 years old, His name is Ryan Wesley Ruth. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Ryan Wesley Ruth. And he was planning to attack the former president as he played a round of golf. And he posted comments on his X account linked to him referencing the assassination attempt on Trump at July in Pennsylvania. So, and again, like that video said, skinny again, this guy, maybe it has it here. He basically I say liberal and this good guy because built houses for low income people in Hawaii. He openly supports Ukraine and tries to get other people to support Ukraine, right? And why does all this matter? Because the question to me with this is, why are two people trying to kill Trump? What is Trump doing that is getting all these people to kill him or try to kill him? And you have two ways, in my opinion, that you can look at this when you try to have a big famous figure that is trying to be killed. Is this guy doing the right thing, and he's trying to open the eyes of the American people, and he's trying to show how bad this government is? And because of that, whenever you have whenever you have somebody that is trying to open the eyes of the greater people and go against the government shuts them down. Or there's somebody that shuts them down that silences that voice. Or do you have somebody on the other side that is running on hate and fear and anger and racism? And the average American person, when they hear that for so long, what does it do? It makes them become hateful, fearful, and angry. And when you do that, you got to become faithful. Are these American people going to become hateful, fearful, angry at the government, which is what Trump is trying to do, and which is why Trump fans, I think, like Trump, because he taps into that hate, fear, and anger? Or are they going to be fearful, and angry at the person doing it? You could take this either way of which you think is happening, but I think that question to me is what I first asked myself when this happened and I heard that he was okay. How does this happen two times? Logistically, of course, with the Secret Service and everything like that. But how does it happen where people are wanting to people are basically giving up their lives? This guy survived, but his life's over. His life's over. They're probably beating his ass right now to try to figure out what happened to him. And that's, that's America. You do some shit like that. You try to kill a police officer, you're getting your ass beat if you get out of it alive. Former president, same thing. Matthew Crooks, the guy that did it a couple weeks ago, and that was a way bigger situation. He's dead. So it's like, why are people willing to risk their lives to kill this man? Is it some reason because somebody's paying them, something's going on, and and Trump is the good guy trying to open the doors of what's going on in America and the government, and he is this people for the American people, and because of that, they need to silence him? Because that does happen a lot in America. You have people that are trying to do the right thing and trying to open the eyes of the American people and maybe a subset of the American people, and then their voice is silenced. They're killed. I believe that, but there's that other side of that as well. I don't want to get like I'm talking about the same thing, but let's read a little bit of this article. I want to read some of the parts that kind of describe who this man was and that one left side, and try to paint a picture of who this guy is, because we did the same thing with Matthew Crooks. And looking back on it, well, let's not get to that either. All right. So this is him on Twitter. You and Biden should visit the injured people in the hospital from the Trump rally and attend the funeral of the murdered firemen. Trump will never do anything for them, he wrote in a post directed at Harris. He clearly did not like Trump. But another thing I think it's interesting to say, and I think it says it here, if not, it's going to say it, he voted for Trump in 2016, but didn't vote for him in 2020. In an April post on X tagging President Biden's presidential account, he wrote that Biden's campaign should be called something like KADAF, Keep America Democratic and Free. Trump should be MASA, Make America Slaves Again, Master. That's kind of funny. Democracy is on the ballot and we cannot lose. In June 2020, Ruth appeared to say that he had voted for Trump in 2016, but that he had since withdrawn his support of the former president. While you were my choice in 2106, I and the world hoped that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate, but we all were greatly disappointment, and it seems you are getting worse and devolving, he wrote. I will be glad when you gone. So let's stop right here. There's obvious, this is Twitter, so I'm not going to be the person to say, oh, something's wrong with him, or he may be kind of slow because he has multiple grammar mistakes. But I think the fact that he voted for Trump in 2016 is interesting at the very least, telling, depending on how you want to look into it. This is somebody that believed in Trump, and I think in 2016 a lot of people believed in Trump because he was so different, and he was more on that right side that I was kind of getting into earlier, that side of he's trying to bring us back in to what's going on and the behind the scenes right? That's what Trump in 2016, now today, but in 2016, it got off the best. I am the one that's going to make this shit different. No one is like me. You need something different. And it was refreshing no matter what. I mean, I was 16. I was way more of an idiot than I am now, so I couldn't even begin to analyze and stuff like that. But I get the refreshingness of it, and I think it's interesting that this guy voted for Trump in 2016. Then in 2020, he appeared to be done with it. And now 4 years later, this is 3 elections. He's been there for all of them. 4 years later, he is on Twitter doing these tweets, saying these things. He is obviously a supporter of Ukraine. I don't think any Trump supporter in 2016, I would be very curious to see or ask this man how he felt about stuff like that, foreign affairs, Ukraine, America giving money to different countries in war, how he felt about that in 2016. The switch in his mind is very interesting to me, right? Let me make sure I'm staying on focus. What are we at, 20 minutes here? Yeah, let me make sure I'm staying on focus. The switch in his mind is very interesting to me. And then also, it's how vocal he was on social media and how emboldened and impassioned he was by this switch to go and try to shoot a fucking AR at a golf course where Trump is, right? Like, what makes him go through this switch in 8 years to where you go from voting to somebody to trying to kill a president of the United States in 2024? What is the switch in my mind? And to me, I have to just say, I was talking to someone, a younger friend of mine that is in love with Trump. And I'm trying to really get better at just listening and understanding Trump fans, because it's easy to just say that these people are racist and these people are crazy, but I feel like that's not enough, because in their heads, some of them do know that they're racist, but some of them are not racist people, but they love Trump, and just like any Trump fan, they believe everything Trump says. And my thinking is, what is it about Trump today that makes you love him and be so confident in him? And I think it's the same thing that makes people like this guy want to kill Trump. It's that hate and that anger and that frustration that Trump runs on. A lot of Americans feel like, well, a lot of Americans run that way daily, and they feel like other Americans run that way on the daily too. I mean, there is a lot of hate and anger and sadness in the world. But tapping into that of the person is what I think is what becomes the interesting part, because everybody knows that it fucking sucks, bro. Life is inevitably and in its core hard, and it's hard to get that job. It's hard to make friends. Everybody's lonely. Everybody feels poor. But when you tap into those emotions of people and bring that out of people, the question is, what does it make them do? Does it make them feel heard? Does it make them feel like someone understands what they're going through? And if that is the case, then they're going to vote for you. And then that is, I think, a lot of Trump's fans' respect for him and enjoy from him. He looks right into that fear and anger and taps into it, while someone like Kamala and the Democrats are running off of, there's more that brings us together than more that separates us. We should be together and we should love each other. I think that this campaign is going to be in November, no matter who wins. It's going to be obviously a vote for who's president, but a snapshot about how the American people feel. Now, it's the electoral college, and the person with the most regular votes doesn't win, but still, that's going to be interesting. And a campaign of hate and fear and a campaign of bringing people together, because all the policy and everything like that, you want to really, we can have an immigration conversation, and I can talk to you about how immigration is one of the fucking hardest policies for any president to figure out. And every single 4 years, it seems like people, since Bush, since I went back to Bush, I went back to Obama, I went back to Trump's first term, every single time there's something you can say about immigration. That's one of the hardest topics, right? This is about the American people and how these campaigns make the American people feel. Most people are just going to just agree with what their person says on the policy anyways, right? And I'm going on a tangent right now. It's 24:06. I'm going to stop at 24:30, so I apologize for this tangent. But I think what's really interesting to me, and I bring this up because this is a guy that liked Trump, and he liked the difference. But over 8 years, I have to ask myself, Was it the policy? Was it how your life was American? Like, was he paying more taxes? Did he hate the way that Trump handled COVID? Did he hate the way that Trump, when his immigration, the thing that you could say about him when he was president is that he was separating families, that he was putting families into like asylums, not the asylums for crazy people, but the asylums where, like, you know, basically the internment camps where they're separating families. Does he not like that? Is that why he's going for Ukraine and he is more, or is it that, or is it also a little bit of you get tired of like fucking just having someone speak to the worst parts of your human existence? And that is a part of human existence. And it is something that has to be addressed, which is what the Democrats don't do. But running on it, I think to the average person, after 4 years of it, 8 years of it, it becomes tiring, sad, and it doesn't seem to help with anything. Is that kind of what it is? But let me continue with this article a little bit. Tyson, North Carolina, where public records show he registered as an unaffiliated voter in 2012. This is a guy that goes back and forth, unaffiliated voter, something that's also interesting to me. He's contributed more than $100 to ActBlue, which processes donations for Democrats' federal campaign finance, records show. Ruth expressed strong support for Ukraine. We already went through that. I am willing to fly to Krakow and go to the border of Ukraine to volunteer and fight and die. Can I be the example we must win? Ruth said in an X post in March 2022. His personal Facebook account presenting himself as an off-the-books liaison for the Ukrainian government. Let's see. This is all stuff we've gone through, I feel like. Okay, this is, I think, interesting. To go to the other side of how this guy, and I didn't even mention this, this is like an interesting little section of the article to go why this guy is like also a little bit off of his rocker. And the thing about liberals is they're too, I guess with Republicans too, they're too forceful of their opinions and beliefs onto other people. And when you don't believe them or you don't go with them, they turn very nasty, very angry, very, you know, the thing with the liberals, again, that love, bring people together, but they have a lot of hate in them as well too. They just show it a little bit different, and I think this could be a little bit. So, all right. Work has never been about money, rather building frameworks for people who thrive and succeed, Ruth wrote on his LinkedIn page. Being mechanically minded, I enjoy ideas and invention and creative projects with artistic flair. The company's website says it uses standard, economical, fast, and efficient construction techniques and materials to produce solutions to our own problems right here on island. So basically, again, getting back, this is for context, he was in Hawaii at some point building like sheds or like low, affordable, tiny homes for people that needed them. Tiny homes. So a Hawaiian man who gave Ruth a bad review on Facebook told CNN he was unsettled by Ruth's response to the criticism. Salih Levy, owner of a vanilla company, don't ask me what a vanilla company is. I do not know. I told you I'm not that smart. Said he had paid Ruth $3,800 up front, not a good business, to build a trailer for his business. But when Levi came to Ruth's shop to review his work, it was shoddy. Levi said when he asked Ruth to improve the work via email, Ruth ranted at him. He just kind of started ranting about, you think because you have money, you're better than me, Levi said, adding that Ruth has mentioned having gone to Ukraine to fight against Russia. I kind of decided maybe I should just let it go for the sake of my family. That's the thing. Okay, let me keep going. Records from North Carolina dating back a couple of decades also show that he had scrapes with the law. In 2002, Ruth was arrested after he was pulled over by police and allegedly put his hand on a firearm before barricading himself in a business, according to a Greensboro News and Record article that year that cited police. A law enforcement confirmed the arrest to CNN. Ruth was arrested after he was pulled over by police and allegedly put his hand on a firearm before barricading himself in a business. Bad business with people, and obviously he has some type of hate for the rich. That is a big liberal thing as well. But you know what another interesting thing is? If you were a Trump fan in 2016, you could also say that you hate the rich and that Trump was... You see how these things connected and how the flow of 8 years could... Trump was running on this thing, and then you see him for 4 years, and then what is it that makes him feel like he's not the person that is going to fight the establishment, fight the rich, fight the way that things that are. Because this is another thing that I feel like I've realized talking to people. The other side feels like that's the side that's lying, upholding the lying, fucked up government. Like everybody, it's interesting that we believe the same things about the other side, but we think the other side is doing it. It's not like we have like these differences, like where I feel like if you were watching Mitt Romney and Barack Obama and you had two people who were having a conversations over the differences of them, it would be like, it's easy to see where we disagree and why we disagree and to put analyzation into that. But when you get to analyzing and talking to a raging liberal, who this guy seems to be and turned into, and a raging Republican that wears his MAGA hat every day, when you get to the core of why they're voting for the same person, yeah, the Republicans going to get to immigration and they're going to get to foreign affairs and they care about that and it does matter to them in their soul. And yeah, with the liberals, you're going to get to abortion and you're going to get to women's rights and you're going to get to having control over your body, and that of course matters to them. But I feel like when you get down to the root of it and when they get angry, passionate, start to talk louder, start to get emboldened, it's because they feel like the government is lying to them and is wrong and is tricking them, and they feel like the other side is the one propping that up. And it's like, if we both feel like the same thing is, my question, and that I have to keep analyzing and don't understand yet, is we both feel like, in my opinion, I could be so off with this, but we both feel like the same thing is happening. What are they? Are these campaigns all a sham on both sides? Are they together? It makes me feel like they're even more together because we're saying the same things. And I think this guy that went from Trump to, in 8 years, a Democrat so angry at the other side that he's willing to kill Trump, shows that they're looping us. And I feel that's something that I have to write about, analyze, and I want to talk to people smarter about me, but it's something that I can't help noticing. And the thing with this guy, I keep, I guess, forgetting about it, is this guy's a little bit, of course, that's crazy. This guy's, of course, a little bit off of his rocker because getting pulled over by police, bad business. And again, another thing that you can see with liberals a lot is that they will rant on you. That was interesting to me, that they will do a rant and they will go off on you in a second about something. But this is just interesting. He wasn't paying his taxes. He committed an offense related to a worthless check. Though the case was dismissed, separately, judges have ordered him to pay tens of thousands of dollars to plaintiffs in various civil suits. Ruth's eldest son, Oran, told CNN via text that Ruth was a loving and caring father, an honest, hardworking man. The son wrote, "I don't know what's happened in Florida, and I hope things have just blown out of proportion, because from the little I've heard, it doesn't sound like the man I know to do anything crazy, much less violent." That's obviously not true. He would do something violent, but I can see him saying that this doesn't sound like his father. This situation, I guess, is just crazy. And I guess with the question of the Secret Service, I guess I'll end this with this. With the Secret Service conversation, golly, that must be a fucking hard job. And I don't know how you stop all of these things from happening. Some of these things, I mean, I don't know. The Secret Service question is about something that is way above my pay grade and my mind ability at this moment in time of just what I know. I'm not mad at the Secret Service for this because I don't know how they stop it. This is like a guy that just woke up and like went to... There's more details that came out, but it's like trying to stop like this is, I guess, predicting the future in my head. And I guess maybe the idea of the Secret Service is that they're able to predict the future or see where things could happen and then put in things to place where that doesn't happen. But this one doesn't seem crazy to me. The Matthew Crooks one was obviously disgusting. You have to be able to plan that out better. But this one is like, shit, the job is hard, you know? But more will come out about the Secret Service, just what they could have done to prevent this and how angry are people going to be at the Secret Service. I don't think this was like a crazy thing of the Secret Service. This is a crazy thing of just where the world is nowadays and the control and power people have to be able to do more than I think they know. And, you know, when I say that, the power and control, get a gun together, figure out where the president's going to go and just sit and try to kill him. I mean, that's a power people have. And it's scary, but it's the world we live in today. And how do you expect people to stop that, you know, every single day? if there's going to be people that are of the mind that they want to use their power and what they have of it to try to kill Trump. I could sound ignorant for saying all that. I realize that, and I think in the days to come, there will be more about the Secret Service that comes out, and I'll be able to do that, right? With this, I just want to quote a song from, I can't think of who it is right now, but, one of the best R&B, rhythm and blues, soul songs. Let me see. What's going on? Marvin Gaye. To quote the great Marvin Gaye, I can't help but ask myself, what's going on in the way that the media is pushing us, the way these campaigns are talking to us, and how the way they're talking to us may be connected to each other. Feels like a question that I have to be asking myself. All right, let's move on to what's next. I'm going to go to this story, and I don't want to get into it a long time. I just want to read through this with you guys. Oh, man. I don't want to be selected. All right. This is I just am going through this to go over the campaign money and where both of these campaigns are spending their money, in what state specifically, and how that makes a difference on the overall campaign. And I also want to just go, long story short, basically the swing states that matter the most amongst the swing states, we've talked about this on the show a lot, it's Georgia and Pennsylvania, right? Those are the ones that matter the most, and you can tell that by where these two campaigns are spending their money on ad dollars, on people working there, on just being there to actually campaign. And it's interesting to me because this, I think, connects to what I was asking before, but it also just shows that a lot of this is just this isn't based off of who is going to make America the best or who is going to be able to talk to the American people. This is about who's going to be able to put the right ads in the right place, and the right ads that make people think the right things in the right locations to get that vote. This is just marketing. This is just marketing and the ability to tap into the American mind and speak to people and see what's better and speak to people by location. And it makes me think, I think in the beginning of really covering this election and even getting into like covering news personally by myself, like not in a newsroom or not for like an organization, it really does make me think like I was like so naive to think, it was ever maybe anything else. But let's get into this article. Harris and Trump placed their chips on different states to win White House. So Democrats have spent the last year eyeing a familiar trio of northern states that would deliver the White House in November. So Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are the clearest pathway to victory, Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign leaders wrote in July, as long as she also picks up a single electoral vote in the Omaha area. The Trump team, meanwhile, has been focused on its own path in the Eastern time zone, a veritable red wall trifecta that overlaps with the northern blue wall around the Great Lakes. It overlaps in Pennsylvania. As long as we heard North Carolina, we just need to win Georgia and Pennsylvania. So basically, and I would say, I'm not going to get into it. Read this whole article for yourself. This is basically looking at what the campaigns are spending money on. You look at Trump, they're spending more money in like a tight group of places because they know that they have Trump's base and Trump's base is strong, and they want to spend the ad dollars in these specific states where they couldn't win or where they need to get a win to get that 270 electoral votes, right? Like that's what America is. The popular vote doesn't matter. The 270 electoral votes matter. What Kamala Harris is doing is she's focusing on her states as well, especially Pennsylvania. But what they're doing is they're also casting a wider net because their margin for error is a lot less. And that's the thing. Trump or the Kamala campaign has raised more money, has spent more money on ad dollars and shit like that, but that's because they have more to do, and they have and like they say, everybody keeps saying we have to introduce ourselves to Kamala. I think we've introduced after the DNC and the debate, but people keep saying Kamala has to be introduced to the American people. So it's interesting that way to me because I guess it's not interesting. That's intuitive that they have to spend more money on a wider range of places because people aren't as familiar with Kamala. Which interesting to me is the focus on these couple of states and the importance of Pennsylvania and the importance of Georgia. And I also think it's interesting that these super PACs it's all planned. These big super PACs that are spending millions and millions, almost $1 billion. I think somewhere it says here, let me try to find it. It says where they've been spending money. Let's see. They've spent almost $1 billion is really, yeah. Harris has a much bigger operation overall. On the whole, the Democratic side had spent or reserved at least $933 million for advertising as of September 3rd. That is the way that the money is being spread on these two states is just insane to me. Insane to me. I'm done looking at this. But and let me see the end because I don't want to get on this for too long. It comes down to two states. It's Pennsylvania and Georgia, McCarthy said on CNBC. If Trump carries exactly what he did before and wins Pennsylvania and Georgia, he is at 270. He doesn't need Arizona. He doesn't need Nevada. This is what I'll say about this. The media and polls and a lot will tell you that Kamala is winning right now, even if it's by a slight margin. And I think the fact that Kamala has to spend more money in more states and go and do a lot more campaign work just to be in the margin of error with Trump, I think everybody should stop and say fuck every poll and be very, very, very aware of the fact that this race is very close and Kamala is doing everything perfectly and has the media wrapped around her finger to get to just where she is now. And Trump has run what I would say is a fucking terrible campaign as far as just what the media and the average, like, in the middle, reasonable, I would say, consumer would say. Trump has ran a fucking terrible campaign, and it's his to lose, it seems like. Less money, less media attention, and I think it is his to lose, and I think that's interesting in and of itself. And where the money is going and how much money is being pushed into Kamala is also interesting to me as well. Yeah. Let's move on to our third story. Let's see. Trump attempt assassination. So apparently Georgia and Pennsylvania. Let's see. Let's go to... Where's Twitter? Ooh, don't want to do that, actually. Alright, let's do this. Alright. And let me turn this down. Oh. Little football talk, because we talk a lot of football. Isaiah Pacheco on injured reserved. I'm not going to talk shit, actually. Let's see. New Revelation Church reception, Daniel's Vineyard. So we could go there, go to the after party. My bad, I was looking at something else. All right, let's move on. I did it again. I'm an idiot. Who cares? Okay. All right. Let's talk about this. Let's just watch these videos. JD Vance. Okay. So JD Vance went on, what was it? CNN with Dana Bash. Man. This is all I want to say with this is they do such a terrible, just the Trump campaign, their media and what they say to the average person. Again, with a Trump fan, they're going to like anything that they say, but they do a terrible job. Everybody knows about the cat and the dogs and cat things with Haitians that's been going on in Springfield, Ohio. If you don't know, I'll give you the skinny. Basically, J.D. Vance and Trump has been saying that Haitian immigrants in the latest act to make people understand how bad immigration is in this country, they're saying that Haitian immigrants have moved into Springfield, Ohio, and they're stealing the neighbors' dogs and cats and the local geese at the pond and are eating them. And it became a humongous thing, and Trump said it in one of the biggest stages in the entire country and world. He said it again. And just made it such a big thing, and now there's been like this big debate over whether or not this is happening, and for the most part, everything that I have seen has said that this is not happening, that it's just not happening, And JD Vance said on CNN with Dana Bash that if he has to make up stories to get people to listen, that's what he's gonna do. And when I say this isn't happening, I mean I've done a lot of things. I've listened and I've read articles. I've listened to the CNN people. I've listened to the Fox people. I've listened to the mayor of Springfield, Ohio, say he doesn't have reports of it. I watched like a YouTube guy that is like an independent journalist. I guess maybe not even, because it was a good article. Sorry about those air quotes. An independent journalist, he is, and it was a good video. A little bit of entertainment, right? But still a great video. A YouTube independent journalist who went there himself, and like among all the people, you had just racist white people who were essentially mad about the amount of immigrants that were going there, which is a different problem and a different question, which is more fair. But in saying they can't drive, but like the dogs and cats things, like the people that were saying, you're like, I can't believe, I can believe if they or they're just going off of hate. And the most reasonable person in the whole video that the guy talked to came up in like the third act of the video with like maybe 15 minutes or maybe 5 to 10 minutes left in a 30-minute video. And the guy was like, yeah, they drive bad. It's a lot of them here. They do cause some problems. I haven't heard nothing about them eating dogs or cats, right? The most reasonable guy that they said. Like even that video kind of showing me that I don't think it's probably a problem. So like if you're reasonable, if you look through this, like they're not eating dogs and cats. They're not. And if they are, I guess this is bad to say, but they're not doing it at like a high level. It's disturbing in and of itself, but they're not doing it to where like you can see cats are like really going missing and shit. Like that's not happening. And then JD Vance went on CNN with Dana Bash, and this is basically what he said. Let's watch a couple videos.
Ask, why have I talked about some of the things that I've been talking about? Let me just say this. My constituents have brought approximately a dozen separate concerns to me. 10 of them are verifiable and confirmable, and a couple of them I talk about because my constituents are telling me firsthand that they're seeing these things. So I have two options, Dana. I can ignore them, which is what the American media has done for years to this community, or I can actually talk about what people are telling me. And of course, many of the things that the media says are completely baseless have since been confirmed. For example, I was told, Dana, that by the American media that it was baseless that migrants were capturing the geese from the local park pond and eating them. And yet there are 911 calls from well before this ever became a viral sensation of people complaining about that exact thing happening. So my attitude is listen to my constituents. Sometimes they're going to say things that people don't like, but they're saying things that people don't like because their town has been overwhelmed, and it's my job to try to fight for them and to protect them. Kamala Harris opened the border, and now these people are suffering. That's what I'm focused on, Dana.
Senator, I have to go through several things that you just said. First of all, the Clark County Sheriff and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources reviewed 11 months of 911 calls. They only identified 2 instances of people alleging Haitians were taking geese out of parks. They found 0.
I think he knows this because the number's not 0. The number's not 0, right? So if the number's never not 0, you have a space for you to be a dickhead and argue. And he's saying he's listening to his constituents, even if it's that 2. I think they just took a story, and I'll get in this. He immense this pretty much. And if you heard me fart, I'm not going to pour Dan Orlovsky and act like I didn't. I did it. Fuck it. I'm in my room. This is my fucking show. If I want to fart on set, I can. But, I know that was a little bit awkward. My bad. But yeah, I think they just took a story that 2 people or 3 or 4 or 5 people said or calling the police and saying, and it was maybe investigated or looked into and saw that these people are probably just racist and hateful and angry about something. That's reasonable. A lot of migrants coming into this small town where there's already problems and making maybe problems worse. Maybe that's a reasonable problem, but taking and putting racism in it in a disgusting way. And then they are just using it to catapult their fucking main big argument that immigration is bad. But I think he knows this, right? That this isn't like a humongous problem that's actually going on. If it is even a problem at all, it's a very small number of people, and you're getting on the biggest stages in the world and presenting it like it's a humongous problem. And that's the thing, no matter what you think about it, right? The fuck?
Evidence to substantiate those claims. Also, other evidence that you have talked about, even you've retweeted, alleged evidence, are unsourced social media videos from a different city apparently no connection to.
She's mentioning that video of like the guy holding the geese. That was like in like not Springfield. What's the capital of Ohio? Let's look that up really quickly. Bear with me. Hold on. Capital. What's the capital? Capital city. Columbus. It was in Columbus. The video of that guy holding that geese that was dead was in Columbus, and apparently he was it was roadkill that he was taking. That's what they said. Now, is he maybe taking a roadkill to eat it? I don't know. I don't even want to laugh. And that's another thing. There's so much to get with this. I didn't cover this story the way I wanted to give all the like nuance that I want to give, so I'm not going to. So at the sake of sounding dumb, I'm sorry. But there's a lot with this. But overall, the main problem of it is there people eating, or is there people? Maybe. Is there a large subset of the population of Haitian immigrants or migrants in Springfield, Ohio, eating geese? Absolutely not. No, no, that's not happening, and he knows that.
To Haitians, and this is from a conservative activist who offered a $5,000 reward for such things. And then going just backly to the schools and the hospitals and so forth being overwhelmed, nobody is disputing that the town of Springfield,
and that's important
Ohio,
too.
Needs.
This is why this is why these people, and I mean the Trump campaign and just the way they talk on the media and like use, again, that fear, hate, and anger. This is why it's unacceptable, and you just can't do that at such a high level. It's because the Springfield City Hall, schools, hospital were targeted by bomb threats tied to baseless claims about these Haitian immigrants. So you make these claims, and then people either react off of your hate, fear, and anger to think they're doing something better and try to hurt innocent people, or they react off your fear, hate, and anger, mad about it, and they try to kill you. That's why it's a dangerous game to play, and it's a dangerous game to play for 8 fucking years. Again, especially when you're doing it off of lies. Like, there's a lot of hate, pain, and anger that people have just living, but off the lies too is just so irresponsible and dangerous.
Help. But you're not just a bystander. You're the senator from Ohio. So instead of saying things that are wrong and actually causing the hospitals, the schools, the government buildings to be evacuated because of bomb threats, because of the cats and dogs thing, why not actually be constructive in helping to better integrate them into the community? Because there are a lot of employers there who say that the Haitian workers are helping fill jobs that they need desperately filled.
Dana, first of all, let me just respond to a couple of things that you said, but I want to start with something you said, which I think is frankly disgusting and is more appropriate for a Democratic propagandist than it is for an American journalist. There is nothing that I have said that has led to threats against these hospitals. These hospitals, the bomb threats and so forth, it's disgusting. The violence is disgusting. We condemn it. We condemn all violence.
Senator, this happened after you and President Trump were on the debate stage, said that cats and dogs were being eaten.
You asked a question, Dana, and I'm going to go ahead and answer it. What we have said.
Say he's a cow. He's a coward. He's an outward liar, and I think that's fucking disgusting. And honestly, to give my honest opinion, the Trump fans that watch something like this and are able to spit it in their heads because you always agree with any Trump things, I think you got in my bare mind pause or my first thought, I think you just don't care either way, and that you just are gonna do whatever you want to win, and that you don't care about safety and that. About these fucking real things or people's lives are in danger. How do you argue that your words didn't lead to this? You guys bringing this story up and making it a thing, and J.D. Vance doing this and tweeting about it, and Donald Trump going on one of the biggest stages in the world and mentioning it again. How does it not militarize or weaponize people's feelings to go and do stupid things? Now, are these people fucking idiots? Did J.D. Vance say go and bomb these people, go and bomb these schools, go and take back your city? No. but you know what you're doing. And it's the same thing with January 6th, where they try to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I think with January 6th, it was so long ago, nobody goes back and research. Maybe it's easier to pull this off. But with this, where it happens just a week ago, I would say it's fair to say I think it's disgusting and bad media. And how dare you try to act like these things that are happening, schools of kids having to be closed, City Hall, where elected officials like January 6th are in danger, hospitals where people, these are places where people are supposed to feel the safest or be the most comfortable. And because of your rhetoric and the things that you're saying and the fact that there are lies on top of that or hurting these people, I think it is fair to say that it's because what you did. And I think she asked a really hard question, but a good question. How is it not because of what you did? They're doing this in response to the problem of migrants eating cats and dogs. And you brought this up, and it's a lie. And you brought this story to the middle of the American people, and it's a lie. So it is on you. I think it's disgusting that he's doing that. And I think that anybody just watching that video, if you can't see that, there's a fucking problem. Not gonna lie. There just is. Let's look at another one. Oh, shit.
But it wasn't just a meme.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to,
but it wasn't just a meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're
creating
a story.
Public policy.
I mean, this is good journalism because it's like, nigga, you can't. Why are you mad at me, bro? And you should get a degree in bullshitting and just going over stuff. You did just say you made up a story. Now he's stopping. And I mean,
sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not.
We are creating. Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield thanks to Kamala Harris's.
But that's where we have to be specific in these things when they talk. You did not create the story of 20,000 migrants coming to Springfield, Ohio. You created the story of these migrants eating dogs and cats at an alarming rate and stealing the dogs and cats of the people that are live there and from there. And that's the thing where it becomes, it's what we focus on and their ability to blend those things, and that the average mind just lets those blend. The problem that there's 20,000 migrants in Springfield, Ohio, and that the government overloaded all those migrants onto a town that's already small. That is a very reasonable argument and one that should be talked about. But that's again why I keep saying their campaign is fucking idiotic, because they focus on lies and stuff like that instead of and then they blend them together and people just allow them to do it without seeing how dangerous some of these lies are, especially a lie like this. This is so dangerous because of the danger that it put Haitian immigrants on, of course, but the danger that it's clearly caused with the bomb threats. And he just refused. And again, he's saying he's not creating the story. He's creating the hype around the story is basically what he's saying. At least that's what I'm taking it as, is we didn't create the story out of thin air. It was a story that was already there, but with our pool, we made it a big thing, which is what people should do with stories that are small that need to be said. But it's like, in your constituents, you don't listen to every single, he's saying his constituents and putting an S, you don't listen to every single fucking constituent in any place. Of course, as the vice president, everybody in the world, I'm his constituent. I mean, you don't listen. If I called and said something, you're not going to just listen to me. This is cherry picking things that you want that you know are going to make people feel some way and going off of it. But when you do the research, you see that it's not what they're saying it is. This is really bad. This one is really bad to me. And him on camera standing on business about it, so crazy, like she's the one that's fried, is really bad to me.
Her policies did that, but yes, we created the actual focus that allowed the American media to talk about this story and the suffering caused by Kamala Harris's policies.
Okay. I'll just end that by saying, that's kind of, I think, getting into like the theme of the show that I was talking about. The thing with this show, I think, is like, Can you run on hate? And maybe I should make that. Let me go to the Google Docs episode name. Let's make this. Can you run on hate? That's interesting to me, you know? But I guess all I'll say with that is that just gets back to that. This one is really bad, and he's obviously lying. Now, let me switch. Let's go. We're going to end soon because we talked about a good amount with this episode, and I'm going to be going live soon again. Let me just go to something with me. Hold on. Okay. Welcome. All right. So, let's look at this. Oh. Before this, let's do another thing. Okay. Are you tired of wearing Nike socks with every pair of shoes that you have? Are you tired of going out and feeling like the same person is wearing the same clothes as you? Are you tired of feeling like you just don't have something that is unique, one of one, brand, something with soul, instead of just a mass-marketed Nike sock or a mass-marketed sweatshirt from Adidas? No disrespect to Adidas and Nike. I've been wearing you guys since I was a kid. If you ever want an ad from Guaranteed News, I would take it. But if you are, I encourage you to go to schmerbo.com and take a look at all of the quality, hand-sewn, one-of-one products that my brother, this is a shameful ad, you could call it, because I do have some bias in these, but I will say these products are fucking amazing. Enough of the ad talk and just being honest. The socks, I would say, are some of my favorite things that he made, because it's like the simplest thing, and it's this thing that you wear every single day, but everybody always needs socks, and the Nike tube socks are annoying. Just wearing white socks isn't enough for me. These socks, it's like he takes two pairs of socks and puts them together so they're two colors. So this is like a black and white. Let's see if my shit would scroll down. This is the black and white. It doesn't scroll up all the way. I need to tell him about this. It doesn't scroll up all the way and down all the way. But he takes the two pairs of socks, and let me see. I have a pair right here. Let me show. Right here. This is a product that I love. This is like dead ass. You can wear them in different ways. Like if you look right here, and this is one of the newer ones, the Schmerbo is stitched right in, and each one of these is handmade. You can see kind of the holes in them for style, but then you can see the two socks are put together. So what you can do is that I really love is, like, if you're wearing them, you can have the white cover the gray all the way. Yeah. But the thing that I think is cool is, like, you can like make the parts show when you're wearing them so that it's like this. Let me see if I can get the camera to, you see how the gray can like pop out a little bit? That's the thing I really love about these, is you can like kind of do some different things with them, and you can make them creative with like how you wear them. So it's like, it's clothes that you can, well, it's socks specifically, I'll say. Socks that you can wear them in like 2 or 3 different ways and they look good. He has this white and black pair. He has this black on gray. He has this green on white, which green's my favorite color. So again, I'm biased. I think this is amazing. Then we can move on to the hats. The Schmerbo hats, these are, I'd say, a staple in Indianapolis now. I mean, I know I said if you want to wear something and not look like everybody else, I'm going to say if you could pop out in one of these in Indy, you're going to probably see someone else with them on. But if you pop out anywhere else but Indy, you will look, well, I guess that's still a lie. They're still outside of Indy. But the quality on them, and just really the look, is just creative on these specific ones. The 777 houses, if you don't know those hats, definitely look into those. The seems too good to be true. These are the ones that are really crazy, and I think where he really gets into his bag. The one-of-one handmade vest. These are exactly that. They're one-of-one. Every single one of is out of stock, except it looks like this green one. This green one-of-one. And when you say one-on-one, it's serious. This is hand-stitched, every pocket, even to the zipper, to the distress. Everything on these is made by hand, by Grant. I think that just adds a certain level of personality and a certain level of nobody else is getting this to every piece of clothing. And he has something that he's making right now for the winter. That is these 101s again that are amazing. These are flannels that he did. Again, 101, different colors. It's really creative and it really is personalized, the pieces. I love it. They're all out of stock. The next time he comes with stock on something, I will be having it some way to bring to you guys beforehand so you guys know this is about to happen. But go to smurble.com. Get some of these socks, get some of the hats, limited amount, get a seems to be good seems to be too good shirt, seems too good to be true, why can't I talk, shirt, and most importantly, I would say, I'm going to have to keep in mind this for you guys, is keep the one-of-one handmade vest, the one-of-one handmade products, keep that in your head when you think of Smurbo. Nobody else is getting this, nobody else is wearing this, and this was made by hand, creativity with love, with soul, with spirit. If you're the type of person that thinks the products that you can come from when they're made with love, soul, and spirit, or no love, soul, and spirit, if you can feel that, because sometimes there's certain products you can tell it was made by somebody that cared. If you feel that and think that, you will get this from every Smurbo product, regardless of it's something like the socks where there's a lot of them, still one-of-one handmade. Regardless if you think it's a hat where there's a lot of them made, still the concept and everything is made with love. But with these one-of-ones, these vests, these flannels, with what he's about to do next, this one I know sold out immediately. This one is awesome. But just keep in mind that with these products, just the one-of-one, the quality and the love that what they were made from. Smurbo.com, that is SMERBO. You see it right here. Even the tagline is made one-of-one, the signature. Love everything about it. Shout out to them. Now, that was my commercial. That was my first time trying a commercial. I did not do a good job, but I don't think I did a terrible job. And the only thing is, we will get better with those, and there will be more ads and commercials to come from products and services that Garrett does love, just to try it out and to try to bring more people to the show, of course. Now, let's get to this. If you are somebody that loves Garrett's football show, season 3 is starting late. I apologize, but it is officially starting tomorrow at noon. The timing of Garrett's football show, it's going to be every single Tuesday. We're not going to do Overreaction Monday. We're going to let the Monday night game go through. We're going to let week 2 completely finish, and then we're going to have Garrett's football show on Tuesday. We're going to stream more football too, and if you follow Garrett's Football Show 2022 on Instagram, I will have more information about when I'll stream and things like that. But this season of Garrett's Football Show, there's going to be more of a specific focus on the Colts and the Steelers. We're going to make this show about the teams that I love, but most specifically my city, Indianapolis, Indiana, and the team in my city, the Indianapolis Colts. We have a lot to get to. They started 0-2, did terrible yesterday. We will talk about that tomorrow at noon on this YouTube account, Garrett's Football Show Season 3. If you're following this Instagram and if you're following this YouTube account because of Garrett's Football Show, I want to say you are some of my favorite first people to ever watch me do a show consistently, and I appreciate you so much. And I am so sorry that last year, Garrett's Football Season 2, I wasn't as the shows weren't coming out every single time, every week, at the same time, every time. I apologize with that, and I am telling you, Season 3 of Garrett's Football Show will be the most entertaining, most unleashed, most giving my opinion Garrett yet. If you want quarterback analyzation, if you want defense analyzation, watch Dan Orlovsky, watch your favorite. You're not going to watch ESPN because they don't do that either, barely, unless Dan Orlovsky's on there for the little 30 minutes on his show. But if you want someone to talk about the Colts, someone that's going to keep it real about what the fuck they're doing, somebody that's going to give analyzation, but fun analyzation, if you want somebody that is going to tell you what needs to happen without reading through all the mumbo jumbo, follow Garrett's Football, GFS.2022 on Instagram. Subscribe to GS Studios, that's GSTEWDIOS on YouTube. And be ready at noon tomorrow for the first episode. We are going to go over Game 2, the Colts losing to a backup quarterback that had his first full game. And we're going to go over the Steelers 2-0, nobody thought it, leading the AFC North, Justin Fields, George Pickens, and Mike Tomlin, the trio that is. And we are going to get through some of the biggest moments of Week 2. Will Levis is fucking ass and can't stop making mistakes. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens lose another comeback game to the Raiders. The Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield that is a story that I have to tell. People know since Garrett's football so season 1, I was a Baker fan, and I had to give up on it a little bit. Now I can start being a Baker fan again. Watch Garrett's football show tomorrow at noon, and every Tuesday at noon at the least for foreseeable coverage. And if you like news, also watch GS Studios, G News, that comes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. Now, that was 3 minutes. I talked for way too long about that. I need to work on being more snapshotty, right? But that is Garrett's football show. No, sorry. I'm thinking about tomorrow. That is Guaranteed News on a Monday. Thank you for watching, and continue to be patient with me as I get better at everything with this. And if you watched a second, a minute, the whole entire show, if you're watching it after it's live, I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends to watch. Please, 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 please. Thank you.